Last time we talked about putting a health bar in our HUD. This time we're going to put the ammo counter for all of our weapons. Let's pop over to HUD player, which is in our new folder called user interface. Double click on that and drag the tab over here if you're so inclined so that we can see what's going on up here. So for our health bar, all we did was throw a progress bar in there and center it using these values right here, which is great. But we have different values that need to be represented side by side for our ammunition. So to do that, we are going to get text, followed by text, followed by text. 3 text blocks. So the first text block is going to hold the amount of bullets we have. The second text block is going to hold a slash. And the third text block is going to hold how many bullets we have in our backpack, in our satchel, whatever your hypothetical character has to carry bullets. In reference to our variables, this will be clip actual, and this will be ammo actual. But we don't want to drag them side by side and try and get them aligned. We want them to be perfectly aligned. To do this, we are going to wrap them inside a box, and that is going to be a horizontal box because we want them organized horizontally. Big surprise. So click on the first text box here, or the text block as it's called, and we're going to right click and go wrap with, which will obviously wrap with whatever we choose. So come down to horizontal box. Now you'll see that our options have changed. With a horizontal box, as the name suggests, we are going to throw things in there and they will be organized side to side, left to right. You can see what is in that horizontal box over here on the left. Our canvas panel is what everything else is on top of. Our progress bar is just by itself. And then our horizontal box is there kind of on the same level as the progress bar sitting on top of the canvas. We can either drag the text into the horizontal box, or we could do it down here. So I'm going to grab the second text block here and I'm going to drag that in there. You can see now they've lined up, because if I was to drag this down here and do it for the third one, there we go. Everyone's lined up nice and neatly. So for anything that is a hard value or a hard figure, it's going to always look that way. We can edit it right here in the editor, easy peasy. Click on the middle text block and come over to the right where it says content. Here, we're going to select what says text block and just give it a slash. And click off that, and there's the slash. Now, so we can get an idea of how this is going to look, we're going to punch in some values for the one on the left and the right, just so we can see how it's going to function. Later on, these values will automatically change themselves according to their reference or what they're binded to, exactly like the progress bar, where our health isn't half because the editor says it's half. Our health is whatever our character says it is, but obviously we want to see what that will look like as an example. So the first text block, we're going to change to whatever number we want, let's say 30. And the second text block will change to 300. You can see here that this outline here is the horizontal block. And if we wanted to, we could size to content using this guy right here, which means that no matter what's in here, it will always fit. One more thing we'll do is put it down in the corner where we want it. I'm just going to put mine in the bottom right. You can put yours wherever you want it. So I could click and drag said horizontal box, which is a bit of a pain because obviously if I click on something that isn't the horizontal box, then I'll be dragging these items out. Or I could use position X and Y. First thing we're going to do, the reason it's at the very top, is sort out our anchor. We want it anchored to the bottom, so we have a reference to where it should be on different sorts of screens, 720, 1080, 1440, 4K. So it all translates well and using different resolutions as well. And then I'm going to drag position X over here and drag position Y down here. And we can come back and change this as many times as we want. One more thing I'm going to do is set up that alignment so that I'm using the center of the box as my reference as opposed to the edge of the box. So I'm going to set them to 0.5. And we'll likely come back and tinker with this later. I'll get into the pedantics because that's something that I think is important for a good UI, is seeing the finer details that will make your game stand out from someone else's. Your player will notice when your UI is pretty, but we'll set that there for now and come back to it when we have other references or we can better describe it. So let's click on the first value here, and we're going to click on this binding and create a new binding, which is going to create a new function inside our event graph, specifically to this widget. So the first thing I want to do is rename said function. I'm going to call this get clip. Now, if you wanted to, you could also say how many bullets your gun can hold. However, in the spirit of a simplistic UI, I'm only going to get clip actual and not clip capacity. And then once we've got that, we're going to fill out our graph. So in the last episode, we got a reference to our hero, which is awesome. We're going to get that reference again. We could either type in get hero and select reference hero, or we can drag here and get that reference. And then once we have that hero reference, what we're going to need is get equipped weapon. So we're talking to the weapon. Now at the top here, you can see it's trying to suggest what we do with equipped weapon, but we know what we're doing. And so we're going to scroll back down here and get equipped weapon. So from the variable of our hero to the variable of our weapon, let's get child actor. And then from that child actor, we're going to cast to base weapon or weapon base. Why are we casting to weapon base? Because we can use weapon base to communicate with every weapon that is built off weapon base, which means that we don't have to set up a specific function for every single weapon. So we could also convert this to a pure cast, but I'm going to plug in the executable here. And then from weapon base, we're going to get clip actual. And then one final step, we need to convert clip actual into text value. And if we drag the integer over the text value, we will get that. And that's pretty much the entire thing right there. So with that done, let's compile and save. Pop back over to the designer and click on our second value. Click on bind again. We want to create a binding, and this will be called get ammo. And luckily, we already know what we want to do, so let's pop back over to get clip just by double clicking on it, and let's copy over everything we created before. Control C, back over to get ammo. Let's Control V that to paste it in, drag over the return node, plug in the to text, and all we need to change is instead of clip actual, we want ammo actual. And if you wanted to get your capacity and display that on there, you could also do that from here, both for clip and ammo. So get ammo actual, plug that in there. Don't forget to plug in your executables as well. Drag that up here, clean it up, and we will compile and save. So with that done, let's pop back over to test and hit play. Our ammo and our clip is working. If I shoot one bullet, there we go. So now, instead of using our print string in the top left, we don't have to do that anymore. We have it built into the UI, which is great, exactly what we want. If I press Q to switch my weapons, there is my pistol ready to go. So with that done, let's pop out of the editor and go over to weapons, weapon base, and pop back to the event graph where we have that print string set up. We no longer need this, so let's delete it. And you can see here that you could have done one function inside of the widget. However, it's easier to understand treating every variable separately. Again, another way you could do it if you're so inclined. But for this tutorial, I'm going to do it this way. So delete that. And now we're no longer using the event tick. Compile, save, and we're all good to go. So no matter what weapon we have, because again, we're using our weapon base, if I'm using the assault rifle, the pistol, the shotgun, the sniper rifle, or the rocket launcher, it will automatically read that weapon's clip actual and ammo actual because they have a common value in weapon base.